All right, so tonight we're going to be getting a little sketchy, and by that I mean we're just going to be doing some pen and pencil sketches. So what I'm going to start off first tonight is I'm going to start off with just kind of a nice street view. So I'm going to go ahead and get started by defining where the center of the drawing is. We're going to just kind of lightly sketch this in because eventually I want to go over all of it. And I also want to define, let's see, this is kind of where the streets intersect. And I want to, I want to draw in the street here. So I'm just going to lightly sketch in where the street's going to be. My ruler's a little smaller, but that's okay because we're just kind of getting some indications of where our elements are going to be at the moment. I'm kind of using a simple perspective at the moment. So. Yeah, hope everyone's been having a good day so far. So definitely a busy day for some people. And it's going to put a little sign over this door. Yeah, I'm using really hard, like the hardest lead that was part of the sketching set at this point because I'm just wanting to draw in the small details at the moment. We'll be working our way up to darker values, ones that just kind of lay in the elements. And also like, there we go. Yeah, we're just gonna have a nice chill show. If this is the first time you're joining us, this is the paint stream where we just do a bit of an exploration into a variety of artistic projects. Generally traditional artwork. I've not really done a lot with digital painting in recent years. I used to do that a lot when I was studying computer graphics technology, but as I started moving more and more towards programming, I kind of moved away from that kind of work in favor of, in favor of more of the technology side than the computer graphics part. But in my spare time, I also like to go into more traditional artwork. So that's basically everything I wanted on this building. Just kind of sketching a little bit of detail over on this back building over here. The building is going to be facing directly towards us, so this particular building isn't going to have a lot in terms of perspective. I believe this is actually going to be one of those little places where, like when you're waiting for the bus, the little terminal that has the bench and the covering so you kept out of the rain. Now I want to start working on this other side of the building, so I better get to that. So I'm kind of outlining the sidewalk on this side of the street at the moment. Let's see, maybe this will, yeah, that looks halfway decent. Maybe I should make sure that that's lined up properly. And I feel like, there we go. Let's go ahead and just gently erase that part of the sidewalk off. I wanted to at least, even though I'm not getting too obsessive about things, I at least want them to look kind of lined up. Hello, Yanni. I hope you are doing well. And yeah, I'm just gonna, yeah. And so as far as this goes, I'm gonna be putting in some brick texture because I want this to be kind of like a brick, like a, I don't know, like a brick texture road. I don't know what to call those. Probably a brick road. But I'm not really going to get into like too deep into the textures yet because I'm actually going to put in a tree over here on the sidewalk. It's like one of those little sidewalk trees. I was actually in Chicago over the weekend, and on my way to some of the restaurants and the events that I was going to, I actually saw a number of just trees kind of like out in the city. And I thought that looked really nice. You know, after a while, I imagined that if you're getting away from nature and stuff, it just kind of starts to look like you're a little bit not. Because I'm in charge of the street, I am going to extend the sidewalk because I do not like the idea of this tree being that close to the curb. I'm going to also erase part of this building just so that doesn't confuse anyone or that I end up forgetting that the tree is there. Yeah, there you go. That looks good. And I'm going to, there you go. That looks a lot better. Yeah. So I want to start detailing this side of the street. So I'm going to kind of say I want the street to kind of, or this building to sort of pop out a bit over here. And then I want it to, there you go, right there. And yeah, just gonna have the building pop up out of here and move this on up over here. Let's see. I'm gonna add a little bit of a thing here. I'm just gonna add that. There we go. Nice. Just kind of want this part to have like a little ledge. I forget what the words I forgot the words of some things are, but yeah, ledge. And you know what? Just so I know where the ledge over here is supposed to go. There. Oop, ledge is a little off. Just only slightly though. Not a big deal. Everything is pretty light at the moment. And you know what? I'm gonna draw me a bit of a window here. At this pace, I'm probably gonna spend all night on this one drawing. And that's okay if that happens. I am in no specific time limit or set schedule specifically. I just have a few ideas of stuff I want to see drawn. And tonight I just felt like doing a little bit of architecture. Challenge myself a bit. I don't really draw a lot of street scenes, if you can tell. But I don't know. Sometimes the thing about art is you kind of have to push yourself to come up with some interesting things and try some stuff that you're not 100% certain about, and just have fun. Let's see. This one here could also use a few extra windows. Just kind of eyeball this. That's looking pretty decent. I'm gonna give that one just a little bit of a ledge. Yeah, usually a lot of my drawings are basically just like still lifes or me trying to draw somebody's face. I'm not exactly. Sometimes I'm getting better at faces, but sometimes it still looks a little bit off. But yeah, okay, this is looking pretty nice. So I'm gonna start cleaning up a few little stray lines here or there before I start kind of getting into it. Alright, so I'm going to choose a slightly darker pencil and too dark at the moment. I just want to start laying in some interesting shadows and some shading. So this over here is going to be, I don't want to forget the street lights. I'm going to add in a few street lights over here. Just you don't want the street to be too dark, otherwise there's just not a lot going on. But you know what? I think it could probably also stand to have a little bit more tree. Just like one more tree over here. And this one's kind of got to branch off a little bit. Kind of keep it somewhat loose. I have a bit of a reference image, but I'm not really like looking. I'm not like staring at the whole time either. I'll go ahead and show you what I'm looking at. It's yeah, nothing too spectacular at the moment, but like I said, I'm gonna use it as a rough guide. but then I'm also gonna embellish and change some things around. Um, yeah, I still do use reference photos for a lot of stuff like this. At least, I I need to kind of know where things would reasonably be in the real world and get an idea of like how the shadows would work too. I had some interesting photos of Chicago that I am probably going to use for some various projects later down the line as well. But for right now, I am just going to go off of things I find on like free photo stock sites at the moment. Yeah, I hope I have more time to after I finish this because I have some other interesting ideas. If not, then I guess we have some stuff to do on future streams. And plus, trust me, there's always more art where this comes from. So we're gonna be at this for quite a while anyway. All right, so I want to show a bit of a shadow being cast from over here. This is where the light from some of the oh, there's a street light right here, kind of like a little light above the building, and it's kind of causing some interesting shadows down around from here. We're just going to roughly fill in the shadow with this lighter pencil at the moment, just to get the shadows where we want them to be. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, as far as art goes, like I said, my main medium's usually painting, so I'm usually doing lately I've been doing more acrylic and oil, but I really want to return to doing some oil paintings. I studied a lot of Bob Ross videos and learned how to do the wet on wet, alla prima art style. I did a lot of those and sold a few of them too, actually. If you want to check out some of the paintings I have for sale, you can go to my Etsy store. Check out the link in the I guess my channel's links. You can find some really cool artwork on there. Yeah. Woo, shameless plug. Yeah, if I keep practicing these street scenes, maybe I should paint something like this sometime. Actually, like I said, I spent so much time on this street, it's going to take me a while to move over to the other side of the street. But that's okay. It's been pretty decent. Yeah, like I said, I have a reference photo, but I'm actually kind of looking at it from the other side of the room. So it's going to be a little hard to see exactly what's happening. So I'm just kind of painting in, like, they're drawing in, like, the basic impressions. It's kind of, yeah. You know what? It is now officially time to move over to the side of the street. So this part here is almost entirely in the shadow, which makes it convenient for me because I just have to block in a giant shadow. Oh boy. I remember in college I took a sketching and visualization course, and you think that with my skill set, like sketching and visualization, I mean, I should be pretty good at that. But actually, the class was a lot harder than you would think. I think it was kind of like the lead out course for the computer graphics majors, to be honest. Um, I actually, on several of my first few projects, I actually ended up getting D's, if you can believe that. Um, you had to like really kind of like describe like the meaning behind a lot of your projects, and maybe the written portion of it wasn't exactly my strong suit. So I did struggle a bit with that. Um, but I did get a decent grade on my final project, which bumped my average up to a C, so I passed the course. Kind of. But I was absolutely dreading taking the final course of the major, because I would have the same professor, but actually it was not actually that bad of a course. And once you got to know the professor, he's actually a pretty cool guy. I've actually done some, for like freelance projects for him in the past. Um, yeah, it's kind of the funny thing is he was actually pretty cool. He is actually a big fan of my artwork, which you know, I gotta. So that always makes me feel good. At least some, yeah. Yeah, it's, I mean, if you ask me to like describe, like, okay, you can describe in detail this street, I would probably just like stare at you blankly and be like, It's a street. What do you exactly want me to say about it?" The street. It's nighttime. You got a street lamp, shadows, trees. I mean, there's not a lot to it. I mean, use your eyes, man. But yeah, I mean, in the professional world, you kind of have to be a little bit more descriptive than that. Written, communication, both verbal and written, is actually a pretty important part of the professional world. So I wish there was a way to teach that one. Well, maybe there is, and I just didn't take the course. I took public speaking and whatever, but I basically just kind of stuttered and stammered my way through it, kind of like how I do with these live streams. Uh, you know what? Maybe it's all about practice too. I've heard of some groups where each week somebody gets up there and they do like a presentation for like it's just like a club, like a social event. Um, I mean, it doesn't sound exactly like my kind of social event, but I mean that's definitely one way to get you out of your public speaking shell. I gotta try that sometime. Maybe I can just go up there and drone on and on about. Basically, I'd be droning on about stuff that like most of the people there probably never heard of, like computer stuff. Give them like an in-depth talk about how you can deploy servers using Docker and Kubernetes. Or give them a lecture on the difference between acrylic and oil paint. That's another thing that I could probably drone on endlessly about. Yeah, just have a few more little designs here and there onto the side of the building. Again, this might not be exactly what was in the reference, but this is what I see, so. and just kind of smear it with my thumb. Gets a little graphite on my fingers, but no sense keeping them clean. You're gonna get graphite in your fingers regardless if you're doing this kind of sketching, so might as well get used to it. Let's see. Yeah. As we finish up this side of the street, at least for the moment, I'm going to sharpen my pencil a little bit and start working on this here street light lamp. Yeah. Let's go ahead and make a little bus terminal over here. It's got a little roof over here to keep the passengers dry while they wait for the bus. In some places, though, I've also seen some bus stops that don't even have one of these comfortable little things. So you just kind of, if it's raining, you just kind of have to sit there and, I don't know, get an umbrella. Yeah, you know what? There's the seat. Little back things. And a little pane of glass, so you can go in there and also kind of keep you out of the wind. On those days where it's a little bit chilly. Bum, bum, bum. Alright, I'm going to start working on this here window. There's a series of windows, actually. The nice thing about these windows is they're straight on, so you don't actually have to like worry about much in terms of perspective. Maybe a poster or something, some kind of like little detail over here. Imagine the poster has something really nice on it to say. You don't want like a nasty poster or anything like that. No, being on like a college campus, I've seen more than a few posters that probably had some less than nice things to say on them. Over the years, at least. Sometimes you find some interesting stuff on there too. It's not all bad. One time, just kind of reading random posters and just kind of messing around, I saw that the entomology department had an event going where you go in there, you ask the lady at the office permission, and she'll let you into the room where they keep all like their bug exhibits. Basically, just a bunch of nasty little predators like spiders. I think they even had one that was like a cage full of bees. Scorpions. Saw some scorpions in there. And then a few that were just random bugs. And you just kind of go in there and satiate your morbid curiosity when it comes to insects and these little critters. And it's not really so bad. Like I said, they got out of their cages, then you'd have then that's a whole different story. You don't want that. Okay. I'm going to start kind of just like quickly blocking in a few indications of bricks, just to kind of give this thing some interest. And also I'm going to start putting some shadows. Like I said, you probably kind of noticed that kind of like laying a little bit light on the details. This is supposed to be a sketch. It's not like a full-on, like one-to-one like render. So just kind of like dropping in like little indications of things happening here. I do want to kind of at least get some like a good lighting, like good lighting study going here. So I'm going to flip this around a little bit just to make it a little bit easier on me. Looking pretty decent. Yeah, I'm gonna put in some brick textures over here, just to. I still want cobblestone. That's what it's called, cobblestone road street. Took me a few minutes. There we go. That's the name of them, cobblestone. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, as we get further and further down the street, the bricks become a little less distinct each time, but we still want to add some texture in there, just so you know that it doesn't stop becoming like a cobblestone road as it goes further down. I mean, yeah. Just kind of throwing in some like rough textures here and there. All right, I'm gonna go to the next pencil hardness level up. I guess this would be a 2B, and yeah, start kind of darkening in some of these darker areas. Another one of my classes I took for sketching. Um, like you'd think that I'd have a harder time at that one because in that one you have like a weekly assignment, and the sketch had to be, and I quote, photorealistic, which meant that it had to basically look like a you had to turn like a pencil sketch into something that looked like a real thing. You think that would be the harder class, but actually not really. I mean, I usually got by with a passing grade, even though, I mean, it's kind of a hard bar to climb, isn't it? Is to make your pencil sketch look like an actual photo. I don't know. I'm not sure if the guy ever really graded on that curve that he claimed. He might have been mostly just all bark. But a lot of people, they didn't really care for his class. There was a part in the midterm where you could kind of give give a bit of like your opinion on how on the teacher and the class. And okay, this is the thing. What happened was after the midterm was after they finished grading the midterms, he came in to class all in a rage, really pissed off, and he was yelling about how everybody, or like a number of people, were writing derogatory things about him and the class in the midterm, which I could believe, to be honest. Yeah, imagine that he did ruffle quite a few students with his kind of demanding attitude. I imagine that a lot of people did do that. Anyway, so he told us that as punishment for the stuff that we said about him in the class, that he's going to change the final exam from a multiple choice to a 30-page essay that was done, like he had to do a 30-page essay in 4 weeks, and that's when the essay would be due. And I don't know. At the time, it seemed like something he would do, but and then what the trick of it was that it was like I said, a 30-page essay. He was only going to show the requirements of the essay one time, and you had to write it down by hand because he wasn't going to post it anywhere. So you had to write fast, and you only had like 5 minutes to write down all these items. So as I'm getting busy writing it, I start noticing that the questions become increasingly absurd as you go down. And the first ones, they sound legitimate. Like one of the things was you had to write an essay about how a camera operates the same way as a human eye, which is something he kind of went on and on about. The comparisons between the human eye and a camera. And then as it goes forward, then it becomes things like define concept, be both vague and specific, or general and specific. And, like weird stuff like that. And then finally, when you start getting into like the real, like obvious joke territory, the question was is that the professor released a tiger into the classroom. You have a knife, and what do you do? And I was like, okay, so it's obviously this guy's joking. And I was like, wow, I didn't actually take this guy as having a particularly good sense of humor, but that was actually a pretty funny joke because for a minute I really did think he was serious, and I was actually kind of like mad at the students for having like riled this guy up because I mean obviously the guy's tough. Why would you intentionally, you know, antagonize the dude? But no, the whole thing was a joke. But then he did say that a lot of people were writing derogatory things in the comments section, and even though he has a good sense of humor about it, they should probably be more careful in the future with like future teachers, and that's a good point. But to be honest, like for the first several weeks of that class, he did not seem like the kind of guy who had like a good sense of humor. So he was like putting on a pretty decent act. And let's see, I'm gonna move on up to a darker pencil. Yeah, I like more contrast in some of like the darker areas. A little bit easier to create more darkness with the softer pencil. So this one's a 4B. It's previously using a 2B, so this is twice as soft. Like as I go along, I'm using like the reference photo less and less, and now I'm just kind of using the picture itself as it's letting it kind of drive itself. At this point, it kind of knows what it wants to be. going to start darkening up a few of these. I guess I'm not going to go too crazy with darkening up the bricks, but just enough to kind of create some shadows and some interesting textures. Let's see. As we begin to approach like the softest pencil and really start just kind of finishing off like the darkest shaded areas. Just kind of roughly sketching a few things around here. Kind of sharpen up a few of the edges. You don't want to go too crazy with this one though. There's not like a lot of like super dark edges that really need to be put in here. That we already have enough shadows as it is. This wall over here, it's pretty dark. There's very little in terms of like actual light hitting this. And you know what? Let's go ahead and sharpen up this area here. I think that this is starting to look about decent. So, and I imagine it is now time to head on to some newer subjects. So let's go ahead and sign off on this. And move on to the next drawing that I want to do. A few seconds to make a decision. So, what I'm going to do, after I've cleaned up some of the marks from my previous drawing, migrated their way onto this new page. So I think we're going to switch gears and start with a simple still life. So, what I'm going to draw will be a cup of tea with a little bit of tea in it and a collection of flowers around the edge. So just start off. Let's go start off with like the first thing I want to start. Do. So I want to just start with the teacup. This will be the little plate that the teacup goes on to. I'm not sure what you would refer to this as. The teacup plate. Yeah. Now, as I promised earlier, there's going to be some flowers kind of in and around this pot of this cup of tea. Just to kind of give it something interesting to look at. I don't know if you generally would put something like this. You'd only do this really just for like the sake of like the composition. I don't think you'd ever actually drink like tea that had like a daisy or something in it. Maybe you would. I've seen some pretty crazy teas out there. Maybe it was coffee. Yeah, I saw a coffee once. It had it was mushroom coffee. It had mushrooms in it. I was like, that just seems like a weird idea. I don't know if it was sold in like a store, so it's probably not the magic mushrooms, which it was probably just regular mushrooms. I think one of them was cordyceps, which I don't know if anyone's ever played The Last of Us. Isn't that the name of isn't that like the kind of the mushrooms that cause like the mushroom zombies from The Last of Us? Cordyceps. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's how The Last of Us got started. It's a good show though. I like it. I remember one time at work they had some tea. It was like imported from India, and I remember one of gonna make myself some of that tea, and one of my coworkers was like, I don't know, if you look at the label, it's not approved. It's not like it doesn't have like the approval of or the seal from the what do you call that place? The Food and Drug Administration. And I'm like, it's imported. They don't even have the same Food and Drug Administration we do. I think it's fine. It's not. It doesn't have anything in there. It's just green tea. It's not going to be anything any different than you'd normally find if you got like the domestic stuff. So, and it was. I like green tea. I've heard some people say that it tastes a little too earthy. It's like I always go for like unsweetened teas, and it does kind of taste a little earthy. I'll admit that, but I like the flavor actually. That and lemon. I like some tea. I like teas with lemon. All right. So now that I've kind of put in the light sketch here, I'm going to start deciding on where I want to put some shadows. So first I want to lightly sketch around and kind of darken up where the T is. The T is actually kind of a darker color, or darker shade than it's kind of a, yeah, T is usually kind of darker. This is green tea, in which case it does have like a lighter green to it, but this is just regular, not regular tea. I don't even know what kind of tea. Let's smear some of that around, kind of blend it in. Again, get your hands dirty. It don't matter. I kind of darken up the little design that sort of goes along the edge of the teacup plate. Just kind of makes it look a little bit more interesting, helps the design stand out a bit more. I'm gonna do a little. I'm not sure what this is called, stippling. Just gonna use the tip of this to kind of add some texture to the inside of the flower, and kind of shade around to kind of give it the center some tension or detail. Not even really sure what kind of flower this is. I think it's a daisy or something. I don't know. I'm not a botanist. Yeah, the flowers on this side don't really have a lot of strong lighting to them, so not really all that worried about. I guess I could give them some shadows underneath, just because there's a bit of shadow, but yeah, not a lot going on with them. What I can do, however, is maybe I can use a softer pencil. Maybe kind of darken up the background a little. I don't really know how much I really want to do that, though. Let's go ahead and just use like the softest pencil I have at the moment. Just kind of give it like a darker background. And maybe I can just kind of smudge in the detail and smudge out the marks. I just kind of want the flowers to pop out more on, so I'm going to make the table a bit darker, and that should bring out more emphasis on the designs around the flowers and the cup. This might be a bad idea. I'm a little nervous right now. Oh well. Let's I don't get my hands too smudgy, so I'm just gonna make a bit of a roller here. Make a bit of an improvised smudger and just kind of that does not smudge very well. I should probably invest in smudge sticks if we're being honest, but you get the idea. And we'll sharpen up a lot of these edges in a bit. Yeah, you know what? Use my thumb as a smudger. No going back now. We're sort of committed. I think it'll be fine. It'll definitely get the point across. Actually, I kind of think the high, adding the dark background really does make the elements that I've surrounded it by already pop. So I think this is probably a good call, all things considered. A little bit extra work, sure, but oh well. If you're liking the show so far, check out my other social links like my Instagram, or you can also see some of my past work on my website or YouTube. I have some links in my channel description, so give those check those out. You might find some interesting stuff you want to maybe send some feedback or something. Maybe you could throw some suggestions about other stuff you might want to see in the future. Once I figure it out, I might start implementing like polling or something. Not quite there yet though. Still kind of getting used to the whole live streaming bit myself. Um, but as I continue going forward, I want to find some ways to make things a little bit more interactive. And if anyone has any ideas or suggestions of stuff they'd like to see, feel free to reach out. I'm going to go ahead and sharpen up this pencil. I've used it quite a bit, this drawing. and it's starting to get a little dull along the edges. Hang on a second. Hang on a second, I'm experiencing a bit of a technical difficulty, and I need to figure out what that's about. And we're back. Looks like my camera, my camera might have been ready to go to bed. Well, I'm not. So, let's get back to it then. kind of darken up a little bit of the edges along the edge of these flowers, just to kind of make them look like they exist in more three-dimensional space rather than just one giant scribble. Okay. I'm gonna actually start the work back on the elements I was working on, and my hands are completely covered in graphite. Oh well, I can always wash them up after the stream's over. No big deal. I'll go ahead and start defining a bit more shadows along the edges of some of these. And it's already got a little bit of graphite on them, so I might as well use them to smudge up. Do a bit of smudging. You're not really sketching if you aren't getting your hands dirty, so... And let's see. Let me go ahead and just kind of darken up a few edges around here. Like I said, these are pretty in the light, so there's not going to be a lot of shadow for these guys. But I can kind of just kind of do a little bit more refinery along the petals, I think. Kind of. Just so it doesn't seem like I've completely forgotten about them. Though I will admit they've not exactly been in the forefront of my mind, considering that I've been focusing a lot heavily on the background and on the teacup itself. I feel like I kind of have to take a little bit easy on this particular, on the 4B, because there's not a lot of like super dark areas on the teacup or on the flowers themselves. So maybe I can put some in the drink. Kind of darken up the tea just a little bit. Again, you don't want to go too nuts with that. There's a few shadows around here that maybe can be darkened just a little bit to give it a little bit more contrast. Again, it's not something that you want to overdo. Might use this particular pencil just to sharpen up the edge along this darker side of the cup. And maybe I can also use this to kind of add a few kind of textures to the table. Not looking too bad. I think what I'm going to do, just to wrap up this particular drawing, is I'm just going to do a little bit of extra refinery along the edges of the cup and the flowers, just to kind of make it look a little bit more solid and to clean up some of the smudging I've done. You know, I've smudged a little bit of like the edges for the teacup. So I might want to clean that up just a shade. Go ahead and do the same thing to the flower petals. They're starting to look a little less like defined objects and really more like blurry suggestions. So let's sharpen these up a little bit. Not too much. Don't want to go insane about it, but do want to kind of sharpen them up. So don't go too crazy about it. Let's see. I think we've done some interesting work here today. It is almost time to begin wrapping things up. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off on this. Well, I hope you've had as much fun watching me get a little sketchy as I did, drawing out some of these cool images. Again, if you've missed any past streams, you can check out my VODs on Twitch. I'll also in the future be reposting these live streams onto YouTube. So if you feel so inclined to go ahead and check me out on other social media sites, and go ahead and leave a follow. That way you can keep up to date on any new work or any new streams I'll be doing. Um, if you haven't already, go ahead and follow my channel too. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the night. And like I said, I hope you've all had fun. It's been a very good night. See you next time.